Hi, I'm Hazel, and this is your guide to the Bloat pet battle on Argus. I'm going to start with a super quick strategy for world questing and then go through teams for every single pet family for progress on the Family Fighter achievement. Bloat lives here in the Antoran Wastes. He appears to be just a little worm dude, but apparently stepping on him doesn't get you the achievement. First up, the fastest strategy for when you just want to get your world quest done and go. This also doubles as the Beast strat. In slot 1, any raptor with over 291 speed set up with exposed wounds. Today, I've got my Ravasaur hatchling. Slot 2 is a Zandalari ankle render or knee biter with Black Claw and Hunting Party, and third can be any beast pet. Starting with the exposed wounds raptor, use exposed wounds. He smacks you down with the Antean cannon, and you bring out your Zandalari raptor. Use Black Claw, then Hunting Party. This whole thing is over with very quickly. Next, aquatic. You want at least 2 mongooses, civets, or otters of any description as long as they have over 291 speed and they're set up with gnaw and dive. The third slot can be whatever. This one is very straightforward. Start with dive to avoid the cannon, then mash gnaw. Keep gnawing until the cannon comes back up, avoid it with dive, and you get the idea. If your mongoose aren't very fast, you can actually get away with slower 2 in the second slots as long as your first one is faster than Bloat. Just remember that if you are slower, you need to dive 1 round before the cannon comes up. A cooldown counter like this pet tracker one is extremely handy for that. Next is critters. There's lots of options for this. I'm using a pair of Marsouls, both over 291 speed with Bite, Burrow, and Feign Death, and then my Mulgore hatchling with Trample. If you're short on those, mix in rabbits with Flurry, Dodge, and Burrow, or a Darkmoon rabbit with huge sharp teeth would be good. Avoidance and beast damage is the key here. Starting with a Marsoul, I'll use Burrow to avoid the cannon, Bite once, and then Feign Death to avoid the Plagued Blood. That will bring out your highest health pet, but since mine are equal, it's random. I get my Mulgore hatchling, so I'll spam Trample. If I had gotten the Marsoul, I would have used Bite, I would have used Feign Death to avoid the cannon, and then Burrow to avoid Plagued Blood. When the hatchling dies, I'll bring back my first Marsoul. Cannon is in 1 round, so I'll use Bite, and then Burrow to escape underground. It's super effective. Next, we'll do Elemental. I'm using my Bound Stream with Water Jet and Dive, a Core Hound pup with Thrash, Howl, and Burrow, and third is an electrified Razortooth with Rip and Blood in the Water that you may not need. Starting with the Bound Stream, use Dive, and then spam Water Jet until you die. Bring in your trusty Core Hound pup and use Howl, and then Burrow. If you die before the Burrow, just restart the fight, but your odds are good. Burrow will scoot us away from the cannon and does some magnificent damage. Then use Thrash until your Core Hound dies, or in this case, until you win. If the Hound doesn't finish things, a Rip, Blood in the Water ought to do it. Next up is Humanoid. I've got my Flayer Youngling with Deflection and Rampage, a Dandelion Frolicker with Bite and Dazzling Dance, and a Little Bad Wolf with Claw, Dodge, and Howl. Starting with the Flayer, use Deflection and then Rampage. Once he dies, bring in the Frolicker or a Thistleleaf Adventurer if you're really fancy. Use Bite and then Dazzling Dance. It feels like we're just getting obliterated, but I promise that we're still on track. Bad Wolf comes out and we're going to use Dodge, and then Howl, and then spam Claw. Easy peasy. Next, we've got Mechanical. In my top slot is my lifelike Mechanical Frostboar with Missile, Pig Out, and Decoy, and second we'll use a Mechanical Scorpid with Barbed Stinger and Blinding Poison. The third pet is a de-weaponized Mechanical Companion with Thrash, but it does not see battle. We'll start with the Frostboar and use Decoy. Missile 4 times, Pig Out, and back to missiles. I'm not convinced that Pig Out is worth it. You might be better just missiling forever. Either way is fine. After the Frostboar dies for good, bring in the Scorpid and check the Antean cannon cooldown. When it's up, use Blinding Poison. Outside of that, just spam Barbed Stinger. The dot damage sucks, but the initial damage is good and it gets the job done. Next, we'll do Dragonkin. I'm using a Sprite Darter hatchling or another Fairy Dragon with over 291 speed with Arcane Blast, Evanescence, and Moonfire. Second is Crominius with Bite, Howl, and Surge of Power, while third I have my Protodrake Whelp with Bite and Protostrike. Starting with my Sprite Darter, I'll use Evanescence and then swap to Crominius. On Crominius, we'll use Howl, and then Bite, and then Surge of Power. After his demise, bring in the Protodrake Whelp. We'll use Bite once, and then Protostrike. We're slower than him, so we're using the Protostrike 1 round before his cannon comes up to make sure that we're clear of it. Then, a few good bites finishes the job. Next up is Flying. This strategy is identical to what I've used for several of the Antorus bosses, and that is because it works. In the first slot is any Skyfin pet set up with Wild Magic, second is Icky with Black Claw and Flock, and third can be any bird that you think deserves to feel special. Start with the Skyfin, use Wild Magic, and then die. Icky comes in and busts out Black Claw, followed by Flock. It's too good. Next, we'll do magic. I've got my Chaos Pup with Enrage and Bite, and second is a Sapphire Cub with Pounce. Third is Trunks with Smash, Ethereal, and Headbutt, but if you don't have him, any Surge of Power magic pet or a Mana Worm with Deflection will do you just fine. Trunks is very good here though, and if you have him, you can put him at the front and nearly solo the whole fight. Starting with that Chaos Pup, I'm going to use Enrage and then spam Bite. You should make it about halfway. Bring in the Sapphire Cub and attach your finger firmly to your Pounce button. That takes us most of the way there, but he does have cannon backup. I'll use Ethereal, and then Headbutt, and then Smash. That awfully big adventure finally pays off. Last is Undead, and this one is nice and easy. Top slot is the Unborn Valkyr with Curse of Doom and Unholy Ascension, then after that you want a Saber Kitten or Bigglesworth or Witch of the Departed or two of the above with Pounce. Follow your heart. Scraps with Claw isn't a bad choice either. Start with the Valkyr, use Curse of Doom, and then Unholy Ascension. This has the pleasant effect of eating the cannon while setting us up for some top-notch pouncing. Bring in a kitty and pounce away. I wonder if undead cats still like warm cuddle spots. After all this fine work, they certainly deserve one. So that's Family Fighter Bloat. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for the rest of the Family Fighter guides and other super cool WoW videos. Let me know what you think, share your own strategies in the comments if you like, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!